Do you believe in fairies? I believe there is more to the world than meets the eye. These winged little beings appear across so many stories and strands of folklore, and I've always felt there is a quiet truth woven into those tales. Maybe fairies speak to that deep, almost childlike longing within us, the wish that the world holds a little more magic than we can see. And even though I know that not all beings who belong to the good people are made of glitter and shimmer, perhaps not even most of them, I still sense something softer and gentler. Little presences that might sleep inside tulips or drift lightly around the first flowers of spring. Sometimes when I'm out wandering, I feel this flicker of curiosity and playfulness in the air, and I cannot help but imagine it's them, the fairies, just waking from their long winter rest, stretching back into the world. And so, this spring I want to spend my days with that same lightness, inspired by their quiet mischief and wonder. And maybe in some small way it will inspire you too, to invite a bit of that energy into your own life. And you don't even have to believe in fairies to live a little more like one. Okay, so the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about fairies is teeny tiny little nature treasures. And as you know, I collect unique little pieces from Mother Earth for my nature cabinet, and so this is one of my most favorite activities. And it is for free, you guys, you can always do this. But not only collecting them, also really noticing what is around you. And I just am always amazed when I go outside and I find a unique new flower or leaf or a really cool tree or these mushrooms on the ground. Really soak in all the teeny tiny little details. Imagine how fairies would see them, what they would do with them. Like maybe they would use these little leaves as an umbrella, maybe they would admire these red ivy leaves. Just have fun and let your creativity speak again. So another thing on my list was to have a little fairy picnic and read an enchanted book, and I did not really have the time to prepare a lot of food, but I did make some fairy tea that smelled amazing, and just bringing my basket, a book and some tea was already so good and magical. So bring some tea, something to eat, and a book, and just enjoy the spring sun at an enchanted place. Now, another thing that you can do to live like a fairy this spring is, of course, to read more enchanted books. And I have some favorites. So I wrote them down that I don't forget any. But the book that you just saw is the Fairy Handbook, and it is by the Fairy magazine. And I just love it. It is so cute. It has a lot of ideas, recipes, and art in it, which I love. So this is a really cool book to have on you if you need some inspiration to live like a fairy and the video is not enough for you. But there is more, don't worry. There is also the Chronicles of Narnia. I love the series. I feel like it's a piece of art in itself, and I always wished that I could live in Narnia when I was younger. So the Chronicles of Narnia is my forever comfort book. If I need some enchantment, if I need fantasy and I cannot find a good fantasy book, I just reread the whole series. So Chronicles of Narnia, I'm sure you know it. If not, please read it. And my battery is dying and it is starting to rain, so I'm just going to read the books to you. But Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, I made a video about it. Really cute book. It inspired me to start my own project. And The Secret Garden, I also am sure you know this book, but such a cute book. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, we talked about this book on this channel before, and I did also a video inspired by it. One of my forever favorite series of my life. But also the flower fairies of the spring, they are so cute, and I love the art of the fairies. It's like the kind of style that I wish I could master, because I think it's just adorable. So just looking at the flower fairies and like the kind of fairies she created is so inspiring. And also the spell shop, and I also bought the newest book of her. I forgot the name because I'm bad at remembering names and I cannot talk when I'm under pressure. But yeah, the spell shop, also a really cute book, really easy read if you want to have more of this enchanted kind of book to read. These are my go-tos, and let me know if there is any other book that you can recommend, because I always love reading more books, so let me know in the comments down below. And now let's keep living like a fairy. Okay, so this place was so magical. I just felt like a queen being there, surrounded by this beautiful architecture. But as a green witch, of course, I also wanted to research some flowers while I was there and see if I could find any new kinds of flowers that I had never seen before. and I tried to find as many flowers as I could where I thought the fairies would love them. And there is a rule that I have, because I usually don't pick any flowers where I think the fairies would love them, like snowdrops, bluebells, anything that looks whimsical and fairy-like. It's just I don't want to pick them because I feel like the little mischievous fairies would like them, and so I just leave them where they are. But I just love taking pictures of them, and like this day, magical. I highly recommend taking pictures, turning it into maybe a little book. Maybe you can take some sketches from the flowers you see. There is so many options, and it is all for free. Okay, so I am having the time of my life right now because this place is just so beautiful and enchanted. And to be honest, today morning I was not even sure where I should go to film this portion of the video, because I thought that the usual places I go to, which are beautiful of course as well, but I felt like that they were not as enchanted as I wanted them to be. And then by accident I stumbled across this place, and I am just having so much fun right now. I brought my little camera, which I feel like was the best decision I ever made, because it really forces you to look around and find these enchanted little things, like the dragon, my favorite. I cannot get over how perfect this place is. This thingy right here, I want to live in it because it is so beautiful. And I just have so much fun looking around, finding spring flowers, finding little things where I feel like fairies would enjoy them as well. Like little leaves of ivy that have the most beautiful red color, or flowers where I feel like they would dance on them or like use them as a little umbrella. Or I don't know, this cave where I just walked in and stumbled into the fairy realm. But yeah, it is so magical. And again, I learned my lesson. Spontaneous things are always the best thing, and following your intuition. I was like, I have no idea how it looks like here, but let's go. And so this is how we found Fairy Realm. And yeah, I want to do a few more activities, because this video is all about how you can spend spring like a fairy. And I brought my little basket, so let's find a good place. Maybe it will even be here because it is the quietest, and I just love the roof, like this red stained glass. How did we get from like this to our modern architecture? Can we just go back? But yeah, let's spend some more time in Fairy Realm, and I hope you enjoy as much as I do. There was this really cool cave with this dragon, and I found these stones that had a whole lot of holes in them, and so I decided to leave little crystals in there. I always have a small jar with herbs or crystals, and I was like, the fairies would so love that if I leave tiny crystals there, because I can only imagine how happy they would be to find tiny, shiny, sparkly things. So yeah, leave little gifts in nature that of course are okay to leave, but this is something that I feel like is such a fairy thing. So yeah, I made sure to leave a lot in there, so I'm really curious to see who comes across them. Okay, it was getting really cold at this point, but I was not ready to leave, and I wanted to do something which I thought is just such a fairy thing, and it is making your clothes more whimsy. Now there is so many different ways. You can use pearls or like some fabric that you can add to your clothes, some lace, whatever it is. And I had these fake flowers which I did not know what I should do with them, and so I decided to embroider them onto my leggings, and let me tell you how much fun this was. Like, this is such a cheap and cool idea, and please do it before putting on the leggings. I just wanted to show you how I'm doing it while I'm outside, but I had so much fun, and I think it is so adorable having like a pant or a leggings with some fake flowers. Like, look how cute that looks, right? And the last idea before we go home and do some fairy crafts is to find some cool structures. Maybe it's a tree bark, maybe some stones, and simply trace it with maybe some charcoal and a piece of paper. We always did this as children in school, and I just think my inner child had a lot of fun. But I think instead of using a pencil, use charcoal, because it would have been much easier to trace the structures I found. But yeah, it was really cool. It really helps for my studies when I'm drawing or when I'm writing my books. It really forces you to think about the details and connect to the details, which is something that I feel like is really contributing to creativity. Okay, I lied. This is the last thing that I did before I went home, but I wanted to dance in the woods, and I feel like, again, this is such a fairy thing, just like dancing around, having fun, not having a care in the world. And this was such a cool tree formation. Unfortunately, they cut down all the leaves. I feel like if they just let it grow, it would have been even more magical. But yeah, nevertheless, it was exactly 5 trees, kind of in the shape of a pentagram. So yeah, I did a little dance and just had fun. Good morning. So, next day, and it is so beautiful outside. The sun, she is out, and I am so grateful that yesterday I was able to film the portion of the video you already saw because it was supposed to rain. And after I filmed everything, it started raining. It even started to snow. I was like, girl, can we have spring now because I need some warmth? But yeah, I was able to film everything and I'm so grateful because this is a video that I wanted to do for a few weeks now, and I thought if I cannot do it today, I probably will miss spring because time is flying by so fast. So yeah, I'm so happy, but there is a few more things that I want to do. And I'm wearing the same outfit as yesterday. I'm wearing the flower petal leggings that I made. My new favorite. I love it. If you want to whimsy up your wardrobe, add some fake flowers to your clothes. It is so much fun and so cute. People were like passing by, but I was just having the time of my life and I was just stitching fake flowers on my clothes like a fairy. But yeah, again, there is a few more things that I want to do together with you, and I really hope that this video is inspiring you to just spend a few days like a fairy. I talked about this with a friend that we both feel like we need to invite more of this playfulness and childlike energy into our life back, because if you get older, you also, like a tree, sometimes grow a bug that is not like healthy. And inviting back the playfulness, just like a fairy, can be super helpful. And I was just running around yesterday. I was like dancing in this tree formation, not caring what anyone thought, which is good. And that's exactly what I want to bring across with this video. So again, you don't even have to believe in fairies to spend your days more like one. And so yeah, I would say let's do some more whimsy fairy activities and see you at the crafting secretary, I think. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few crafts because I feel like making something with your hands is such a cool thing to do, even if the weather is turning warm. I get so much inspiration outside now, and the first thing on my list was to craft a little fairy castle. You know that I love finding them in nature, so I wanted to kind of make my own for my home. And so I started kind of cutting down the cardboard I had, wrapping it into aluminum foil, and then again wrapping it with some tape. And then I simply glued some PVC glue on top and some tissue to make it sturdy. I don't know what happened. It did not really work well this time with the PVC glue. Maybe I used too much water, but yeah, I think it turned out super cute, so make sure you watch until the very end where I show you the final reveal. Okay, so I know that this video is all about how to spend spring like a fairy, but let me tell you that the past couple of days have been so cold. It has been snowing, it has been raining, it was so windy, and there was no way that I could spend more time outside, which I really wanted to. But so I decided to do a few more crafts, which were these adorable spring flowers made from egg cardboard. I also finished the fairy castle, and I did a little makeover of some furniture I thrifted a few years ago. I did some mini furniture for the fairy castle. So there are so many things that you can do in spring, and like my inspiration, my creativity right now is just overflowing, and I love this energy that spring gives me. But yeah, let me know what your favorite season is. I'm just so enjoying spring, even though it is cold, but I have a lot of fun. Now, another idea how you can spend the spring like a real fairy is to make your home more whimsy. And for that, I really love going to the thrift store, because I feel like you can find the most enchanted things in the thrift store. And I feel like if you want to decorate so it is more whimsical, enchanted, and fairy-like, try to find things that are like animal depictions. For example, I recently found this beautiful swan, and I don't know what I'm going to put into it. I have to clean it, but I feel like maybe some Easter eggs or some chocolate, maybe some jewelry could be really perfect. So see if you can find any animal related things. This could be images, again figures, or maybe these kind of plates or porcelain things, and I feel like they themselves really enchant the home. So I'm going to clean this beautiful swan up, and then I'm going to decorate my seasonal altar with it. But there is another thing that I want to do, which I feel like is the perfect indoor activity if it's, for example, raining outside and you want to make your life more whimsical and live like a fairy. So let's clean it up, and then let's go to the seasonal altar. I'm super excited. I have been wanting to do that for I think 2 years at this point, and this video is finally the day, or like today is finally the day. Okay, so there is no way that we spend spring like a fairy and we don't craft miniature things, right? That's a must on a spring fairy bucket list. And I just love everything that is whimsy and tiny. I always wanted to live in a nutshell and have birds as my friends and like ride on them through the skies. And I just love tiny little fairy furniture. So that's exactly what we are going to do. Someone over here is already excited, and I am as well, to make tiny little things. And by the way, this is something that crossed my mind recently, and it is crafting all of these whimsical things, because I know from the outside it looks like maybe a child is doing these things, like my fairy castle probably looks like, I don't know, my younger self made it, but that's exactly the point. Like, my inner child would be so happy to make these kind of things, and that's exactly, again, the kind of energy and mindset we want to get back into, like this creative, unapologetic, whimsical, enchanted mindset. And it really doesn't matter what someone else is saying. So if you love crafting, if you love making whimsical things and collecting little sticks and making tiny furniture out of it, don't apologize for it. If it makes you happy, please keep doing it. Never let anyone tell you that it is childish or something like this. If whimsy is your way to de-stress and get your creative inner spark back, please, by all means, keep doing it, because we need more of these artists in the world. So, yeah. Be whimsical, be enchanted, and be more like a fairy, because fairies would not care what anyone says. So, yeah, I hope this helps in case you are in a situation like this, because I certainly have. I felt so ashamed in the past whenever I crafted things like this, and now it's just the best thing in the world. So, never stop crafting whimsical things. Okay, so I spent the whole evening yesterday to finish it and show you it is not completely finished, because I want to put a library into this bigger space that is still free, but I really like it, and if you don't look too close, it looks like a real fairy castle. But yeah, I had so much fun, and if you can only do one thing, maybe give the fairy castle a try. And I already have a few ideas to make little versions from epoxy clay, because it is quite wibbly wobbly. It is not really durable. I don't know why I used my trustworthy PVC glue, which usually turns everything into magic, but not this bad boy right here. But yeah, I had so much fun, and if you can only do one thing, please make a fairy castle this spring, because it is so therapeutic, and you can just craft teeny tiny furniture, which is all we want. So I'm going to end this video here, but I really hope you enjoyed it and you got some idea and inspiration how you can spend this spring like a fairy. And if you want a part 2, let me know, because I still have so many ideas, and now I think I finally have the time to actually film again. So yeah, let me know, and I hope you have a beautiful, magical week, and see you next week. Bye bye.